Good morning, afternoon, evening, from wherever you are listening. Welcome back to the Breakevens podcast. My name is Corey, and as always, with me is Jack.
Hello.
So, Jack, round 7 is over, and we had another ruckman go down. The big man, the cherry bomb, out for 3 to 4 weeks, which isn't great and isn't helpful. I'm pretty sure that changed a few players, a few players' teams last week, and I know it's changed mine this week. But for most people who weren't me, we had some absolutely huge Supercoach scores this week. With the top scorer being in the 2,800 range, which is nuts. As always, thank you all for your ongoing support. We've had a great amount of people on Twitter follow us, ask a few questions. There was a person today asking who the Freo weight health and safety protocol players were. So you can find us on Twitter at BreakevensPod. We're always open to answering questions or just giving you guys our thoughts. And we're also on YouTube and Apple Podcasts if you just search the Breakevens. So, Jack, in today's podcast, we're just going to do same old, same old. We're going to give you the hot and colds, um, the break-evens, who's going up price, who's going down. And as always, we will go through our personal teams at the start and an update on the break-even side, which is starting to take a little bit of shape. So, Jack, how did your team score this week?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good score when I saw it. Turns out it was an average score. 2,407.
Nice.
And I say it was an average score because I was only in the top 22%. With that score, where you're usually top 10% with that,
Yep.
maybe a bit less. I went up a total of 1,867 in my season rank. I'm at 36,369.
Yeah.
Had some big scores. Tommy
Yep.
Stewart, 187, Short 152, Lockie Neal 187, and Jelly 153. And he was still robbed of his Supercoach score. You also had Dunkley 139, Witts 136, Bruce 109, Cornelio 108, Oliver 119, and Sicily 116 that did well for me.
Yep.
Jackson Mccrae let me down. I didn't take Oliver's 119, thinking Mccrae's got that, and he got 89.
Yeah, not great.
But yeah,
All
no,
right.
that's
So, what are your trades this week? Have you thought about much your trades? What are you going to do? Who are
yeah.
you looking at?
So I've done 3. So I've used my boost.
Is this your first or second boost?
I it's probably my second, maybe my
Second.
first. I'm not sure. First or second.
Yep.
It doesn't say how many I've got left because I've done 3 trades, which is pretty shit. Um, so I've gone O'Driscoll up to Tuk Tuk.
Nice.
Um, I have then gone Rochelle to Parker. No, Cherry to Parker. Sorry,
Yep.
and then Rochelle down to McCoon.
Nice. And that
Yeah,
leaves
no.
you with
I have 81.6k,
nice.
and I've got
Um,
a full midfield forward, pretty much full primo
nice.
forward line.
And what are your VC and C options?
My advice this week is talk Captain Neil.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm thinking the same way. So Jack, that was all you had on your team?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'll go to my side, who didn't score as well as Jack's, unfortunately, but I sort of expected that. So I only scored 2,273, which saw me drop a whopping 12,303 ranks, and now I'm 29,422nd. Um, as I said, I am expecting a drop at the moment just due to my trades and how I've structured them. Things like I've kept English, um, who could be back this week actually, but also I didn't trade Cherry last week, so I've traded him this week. So um, I'm basically a primo down on everyone at the moment, but I'm looking to make that up in the next few weeks anyway. So what happened to my team? I had, as you did, Jack, the captain on Mccrae didn't take Clary Oliver's 119, which most people wouldn't have, because 119, as we know, it's a good score, but it's not enough to loophole usually. So to move on to my trades this week, I'm only doing the two trades. I've flirted with using a boost because I can go a Driscoll up to um, Sam Doherty, but I'm going to wait on that. So I'm only going to do the two trades. So I'm going Cherry to Parker as well. And I originally was going Brody Hoff to Greg Clark, but it looks like Hoff will be named this week. So um, with Ben Hobbs only scoring 13 last week and having a break even of 40 odd, I've decided to go Hobbs to Greg Clark. And that means Greg Clark will be my M8 as I've switched Dacos into the back line. So that leaves me with 2,000, no, it's not 2,000, $278,900 dues to upgrade next week, which I'm looking O'Driscoll hopefully to Stewart. But it all depends on what happens this week. And I know Stewart has a low break even, so probably it'll be a downgrade and then it'll be an upgrade of a Driscoll to Stewart. So VC and C options, Jack, I spoke to you earlier today and I said I have some information, I have some statistics to go with these VC and C options. So I've I've decided I'm going to look into how players have gone the last three times against um, the team that they're versing for the week. So the first one I looked at was Tuk Miller. Okay, he plays, was it 1:45? 1:45 p.m. against Sydney on Saturday. Do you have any clue on what he averages in the last three against the Swans, Jack?
I couldn't tell you.
I can tell you it is a whopping 132 Supercoach points in the last three games against Sydney. He scores well. Okay, so he could be a great VCC option depending on your team. Now, Lockie Neal, they play, it's 7:45, 7:30, isn't it?
Yeah.
7:25 against West Coast at the Gabba on that Saturday night. He averages in the last three games against West Coast, when they had a decent side, not against a shitter side, averages 142 Supercoach points. So those are my VCC options this week. But if you're looking for someone else, I looked at Clary Oliver and Jack Steele. They're both playing each other, the Saints and the D's. They both average 125 Supercoach points against each other. You take that as a VC or as a C. They play the Sunday at 110, so they would be a captain option if you decide not to go Took or Neil, or you don't have either of those players. But also in that game, we have Max Gawn, who averages 132 against St Kilda. That's with Marshall, number one ruck, who could and should be back this week. Paddy Ryder as well, who is an absolute stinker. So he could be another option out there, especially coming off a few big games. So now I can hear people going, but Corey, Jack Mccrae, he plays Friday night against Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide suck at the moment. Yes, they do suck. But compared to everyone else who's had 132s, 125s, 142, Jack Mccrae against Port Adelaide only averages 113.5, which is great. 113 Supercoach points, but wouldn't you want to go someone higher? I would. And the problem with Mccrae is last 2 weeks, Jack, he's dropped some pretty stinkers, hasn't he? 92 and
Yeah,
89.
but I was telling you, he's either scored 130 plus or 133 plus or low 90s in the 89. So it's either he stinks it up massively or he goes big. There's no in between with Mccrae at the moment.
Yep. But do you know why the last 2 weeks have been poor?
He's been on the wing.
No, worse. So I was reading an article before. Jack Mccrae, from the first quarter to 3/4 time, so the start of the game to the 3/4 time siren, has been playing 95% in the midfield or wing, right? Awesome, right? He's usually on a decent score around 3/4 time, isn't he? In the fourth quarter, he's been playing, I think it's 62 or 64% midfield, and the rest he's been playing forward. So for some reason, at 3/4 time, Bevo goes, "Yeah, Mccrae, you're playing in the forward line," and that's why we've seen scores 92 and 89. Last week, I was looking at Mccrae. I think he was on 77 or something at 3/4 time, or he could have even been on like 88 or something. And I'm going, okay, you know, he could get roughly the same to Clary, which means I haven't really lost any points there. He finishes on 89 because he plays a big chunk forward. We lose that, right? Last season, Jack Mccrae, he averaged 28.7 or something like that points in the last quarter, right? Just the season average 28 points in the last quarter. This season, he's only averaging 16 points in last quarters, and that's because he's been chucked forward. So he's a bit of a risky pick to go that VC or C on. So I think I might stay away for a little bit. And as I said last time I did that, he scored 158. So but yeah, so just be wary, and that's what's happening with Mccrae. It's no injury or anything like that. It's just Bevo going to have a sit up forward, which surprisingly we've seen Josh Dunkley score better in the last 2 weeks. Could that be why? Possibly. Um, but yeah, that's my rant over. Any thoughts on that, Jack?
No, nice.
No, awesome. So I'll quickly go through the Breakevens team. So the Breakevens did better than me, not as good as Jack. 2,352 points, which was a round rank of 52,517, and we are now ranked 46,094th. Stewart and Neil were the saviours, both 187. Funny enough, we had the VC on Clary and the captain on Mccrae, but I reversed our trades and then changed it because we had a few players out. Um, and I accidentally forgot to change it back. So Clary Oliver was our captain. So we got his his score, which actually worked out for us. And we had a few people out, which means we had to field a few rookies that we didn't necessarily want to, but we did. Okay. Trades this week. I'm pretty sure we've just gone the two. We've gone Jack Hayes down to Robbie McComb. And we have gone Jared Berry to Tuk Miller. We jumped on McComb this week because he's played 2 games. And next week we're going to jump on Greg Clark, which should be good. So, yeah, Breakevens team is starting to pick up some speed. So get around it. All right. So now we'll move straight into the hot and cold. We'll smash through this, Jack. So I believe you had game 1.
Yeah, I did, and it was the best game of the round. Richmond versus West Coast. Now, just quickly, funny enough, I went in watching the game confident that we'd win, but 109 points, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
One, with our form, and two, I thought West Coast had something to fight for. Um, Adam Simpson, they got thumped the week before, and he wouldn't be happy about it. He'd want to bounce back. Then he decided to medi sub Andrew Gaff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Tigers won by 109 in what I say was a training session.
Yep.
Biggest win Richmond's had in since 2015 or something like that.
Yep.
So, which was a surprising stat for me with 2017, 19, 20, where we were best of the comp. But getting in the hot for the Eagles, Liam Duggan 125, Greg Clark 104, and Shannon Hearn 100. For the Tigers, Tom Lynch 167. If he kicked that 13 goals, he would have scored at least 240. Jaden Short 152 in the midfield, which was a big surprise. But it worked out very well, super coach wise, and just in Richmond's performance.
Mhm.
Shy Bolton 139. He picked up, being quiet last few rounds, so it was good to see him up and about. Nick Vloshtin 110, his lowest score of the year. But he's just continuing his hot form. Camden McIntosh 102, kicked the 3 goals. That's probably what gave him the ton. We won't see that much often for the rest of the year. It was an
Yeah.
unbloody believable score by him.
Yep.
Dan Rioli 100, didn't get that 112 break even, but people who kept him, if he did, 100 score is a good score, especially in defence. And the last one I put in there, Maurice Rioli in his first game scored 92. Don't see that happening again if he keeps his spot, but that's a good score that we like to see. Cold for West Coast, everyone.
Mhm.
Jeremy McGovern, 62. He's been averaging around that 120 mark, I think it is, in defence,
Yep.
so that's half of his average. Willie Rioli, hamstring soreness, I think it was,
Yep.
got subbed out the game. Dion Pressure with an ankle or Achilles soreness, tightness. He's a test to play this week, but he did get subbed as well. And a bloke I've been talking about highly the last month. Nathan Broad scored 39, but there's not much he can do when the ball doesn't go in the defensive half.
That's true.
On the break evens, Jaden Short 46. If you didn't pick him up, it's probably a bit too late. He's probably going to double his money.
Yep.
Josh Kipkis holders will be Love and Life -11. He's played very well the last 2 weeks. Nick Bloshun, 27. If you jumped on him or you're looking to, he's a great money making option. But at the moment he's showing that he's a top defender with his averages and his performances. Um, Corey's boy however you say it,
Off, off.
um, off -4, and he's playing this week. So if you have him, he's making money. I've put Greg Clark in there for people if you want to jump on early this week. He's on a -58. But myself included, I think most will jump on him next week, where it's probably a better break even. But just so you know, he's currently on a -58. And the last one, Paddy Nash, he's got a break even on 70. I think this is probably the last week before you get rid of him, I would say.
Yep.
And that's all I got on the Tigers training day.
Awesome, awesome. So I had the next game, which is Geelong versus Fremantle, and Freo won by 3 points down at GMHBA, which was absolutely crazy. Did not see that coming. The Hots, though, we had Tom Stewart, 187, massive. And I heard those teams who didn't have him, like myself. Mark Blitzar's 135. Cam Guthrie, 116. He's finally turned up. Reece Stanley, 107. And I'll put Tyson Stengel's 97 in there just because I felt like it. And for Freo, surprisingly, there wasn't too many big scores. So Blake Acres, 125. Lob, 113. Switkowski, 101. And Lloyd Meek, 100. Now, funny enough, Acres, Lob, and Meek are out this week due to H and S protocols. As we move on to the Colds. So the Colds for Geelong, Tom Hawkins, 64. Joel Selwood, 61. Mitch Duncan, only 47. Jeremy Cameron, 46. I put Max Holmes, 14. I'm not sure if he got injured or not. And Ollie Dempsey, I
Yeah, it was
know,
an ankle.
ankle. And Ollie Dempsey, I know, didn't get injured, but only scored the 12, which isn't great. For Freo, the bloke that's only turned up once for me since getting him, that was Andy Brayshaw, Hamish's brother, scored a 77. Will Brodie, 75. And Luke Ryan, 62. As we move over to the break evens for Geelong, Ollie Dempsey, even though he scored 12, he's got a negative 18 break even. Sam DeConing has a break even of 1, which is very good. Tyson Stengel, 12. Reece Stanley, 35. Tom Stewart, 69. Cam Guthrie, 84. Tom Hawkins, 103. Mitch Duncan, 127. Dangerfield is back this week. Just don't know in what position. Most likely forward, I would say, but he's got a break even of 132. And Joel Selwood, 140. As we move on to Freo, someone who could potentially be back this week is Neil Erasmus with negative 31. Heath Chapman's back with 57, break even. O'Driscoll, 77, so probably his last week. Will Brodie, 86, just keep chugging on. Luke Ryan, 109. Shrek Darcy was back, 115, and Andy Brayshaw with 157. Just a couple of things that I forgot to say with West Coast Jack is Luke Shuey is out this week, which opens up more mid-time for Hoff and for Greg Clark. And as I said with Freo, Meek, Acres, Lob, Frederick, Griffin Logue, and Travis Collier are all out with H and S protocols. So not great. There'll be 6 changes there. So we'll move on to the next game, which is Adelaide versus the Giants, who Jack will take over.
So the Giants won by 59 points against Crom. Hot jelly, jelly, jelly. Bloody hell, about time, 153, and he had 41 touches. Big game. Um, Isaac Cumming, 135. He looks like a good defensive option, keeping his form from last year. Toby Green, 117. Looks like he's warmed up and he's ready to go now after his first game. Jesse Hogan, 112. He just keeps on performing. It's a strange one.
Yep.
He's a very good key forward, and he's probably the best key forward for Supercoach. Braden Bruce, 109, another ton for him. He's just being consistent now, really.
Yep.
Cogs, 108, very good score. Tom Green, 107. Perryman, 101. And I had to put this in there because it is a shock. Lockie Whitfield scored 95.
And kicked 3 goals.
For the Crom, it's just your main two. Rory Laird, 116, and Ben Keys, 105. Keep doing what they do best. Getting into the colds, Brodie Smith took mark of the year, then he killed himself.
Yeah, that did not look good.
Um, Concussions we hate to see, especially when it's body on body, or head clashes. But this, I don't know what happened. Like he took the mark, and on the way down, it's like he didn't brace himself, and he just let himself get collected. It looked like, or
Yeah, he so when he went up for the specky, he was on an angle, and then he like sort of pushed off, which made his body go basically horizontal, and yeah, there was nothing he could do, and he just went night night.
yeah, it's scary stuff, especially
Mm.
for the young people that are watching footy and want to get into it.
Good mark though.
Oh, fantastic mark! He's got to be top three for mark of the year. Um, Ned McHenry had a collision and didn't return. I didn't see it,
Neither did I.
so I'm not sure what it is. But he had the big red cross on fan footy, and it said it was with a collision, so he might play, he might miss. Rob only scored 81. He was good the last 2-3 weeks, scoring well, and he's back down to what he was doing at the start of the season.
Yep.
Jordan Dawson, 94. I feel like he's been a bit disappointing.
Yep.
He's just scoring that low to mid 90s. He's gotten 100 once or twice. I don't think they were massive hundreds. I think they were just low 100. So that's kind of turned me away from him, to be honest. I'm not sure if I want him anymore. I'm not sure about you.
I don't have him, and I don't plan on getting him. I'm looking at Stewart and Doherty to finish off my back line.
And last one for, I think it is, yeah, last one for the Giants. The only one you could really pick up on. Callum Ward, 79, had his lowest time on ground ever. They're saying since he joined the Giants, when he hasn't gotten injured with 66%. That's definitely let his score down a bit. But he's been on fire the last few weeks, and we could see him bounce back. Getting into the break-evens, Ben Keys 110, Roy Laird 128. They both can get that score. If they don't, I'll be around that really. Braden Bruce minus 13. Yeah, no, look, with his form, he's definitely not going to get that. Expected another big price jump with Bruce. Finn Callahan, the young giant midfielder, I like to call him, is massive. Could be playing a key position role. -5, he's looked very good, and last week he looked more comfortable at the level, so that's good for Giant fans and people who brought him in. My boy Jelly's down to a 69. Yeah, no, look, he'll get that by three-quarter time. If he's playing mid in the fourth quarter, it could be a big price jump for him. Toby Green, 110. I liked seeing that. I was shocked because he scored 117 this week, but that 110 he'll score around that again. Hoping he can go down a bit because I'm looking to get him in later on in my forward line.
Yep.
And Stephen Canelio, 62, which he will make money on.
Yep.
And that's all I had.
Sweet. Well, I had the Demons versus the Hawks, which was a lot tighter of a game than I thought. So the Demons won by 10 points anyway, but if I was a Hawthorn supporter, I'd be pretty happy with the performance.
The D's the last 2 weeks haven't been great.
Yeah.
Richmond
But,
last week, very inaccurate, not great. And then Hawthorn this week, you could argue should have won the game.
yeah. But, Richmond played well that week, and the Hawks played well this week. So as we get into the Hots, as expected, Max Gawn went big, 172, which we said was going to happen. There's going to be a big score there. Christian Petrarca, Jack, 131. You were talking shit on him last week. He come out and went bang.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy because I've got him in draft.
Clary Oliver, 119, who was most people's captains. And Ben Brown, 105, which is good.
Yeah, that was shocking.
And as we go to the Hawks, your boy Jack Dylan Moore, 147.
He's a gun.
Very underrated. Sicily, 116. Didn't get reported for abuse because he's captain. And Jack Scrimshaw, 103.
Didn't he have a shot on goal as well?
Yeah, probably. And the Colds, I only have Hawthorn players here. There's only two of them. I put Tom Mitchell, 78. Was it last week or the week before, Jack? We had that Mitchell versus Bond debate.
Yeah, last week.
Yep, and I said I like Bond's consistent 103s over Mitchell's 60s and 70s, and then the big 100, and you come out with 78.
Yeah, no, look, I've called up Hawthorn, Box Hill, and I've gone, can you put me on the phone with Tom Mitchell, please? And then I've given him an absolute roasting saying, I backed you last week and you didn't let me down.
And Finn McGuinness scored 26, which is woeful. As we move into the break evens, Bedford negative 26 has some money there. Jack Bowie 62. If for those who still have him, it has to be time to upgrade him. Clary Oliver only 84, Max Gawn 98, Petrarca 107. You reckon the three of those should get that? And Stephen May, who's someone who goes under the radar, break even 134. As we move over to the Hawks, I've got Max Lynch here, 2. Which he might.
Big Collingwood reject.
Finn McGuinness, 16, so that's not looking great. Josh Ward has had his rest. He'll be back this week. He's going to break even at 26. Connor McDonald, 30. Dylan Moore, 52. James Sicily, 92. And Tom Mitchell, 152. Probably has some cash there to go down. As Jack, you have the next two games, I believe. So first off, St Kilda versus Port Adelaide.
Yeah. So in the worst game of the round, Port
absolutely.
Adelaide won by a point. I think there was something like 28, 26, 28 points kicked combined.
31.
31, there you go. I was being generous.
9 goals, 31 for the game.
Yes, there was wet conditions, but most of the misses were 10, 15 metres out right in front. I think Max King kicked 3 of them right in front, 15 metres out, and almost kicked it out in the full twice. It was a very poor display of football skills, but Supercoach wise, Jack Steele 122. People would love that. And then Seb Ross 119, and that's all that was good for St Kilda. For Port, Ryan Burton 120. Ollie Wines 104, and Robbie Gray, surprise moonlight, give it to him 100. Haven't seen scores of that with Robbie Gray for a while, 2-3 years at least. Going in the colds, Jack Higgins 36, 1 goal free, another one that just couldn't kick straight from right in front. Jack Sinclair had one. He's had a bad game with 85, which could definitely have been worse with how poor the game was. Jade Gresham 86. Now I've got to remember it's Sam Hayes 53, not Jack. He scored 53. Mitch Georgiades did his car, which isn't a good look for him. And I don't know what Port do this week with their forward line with their usual three big forwards, and you got Dixon and Georgiades out, who are your two only other key forwards, and Trav Boak 87. Going into the break-evens, we got Dan Houston 84, Sam Hayes minus 56. They both get that. Trav Boak 132. I can't see him getting that, but I can see him jumping back up to that 105 mark this week. Ollie Wines 92. He'll get that. Zach Butters 114. He had a good week this week with an 89. I don't think he's going to reach that 114, but hopefully with better conditions this week, he can bump that 89 up to 100 and get a ton for us. Jack Sinclair 129. If you missed out on him and you want to get him in, look at him this week. I don't see him getting 129, but he would definitely bounce back up in the hundreds. Again, better conditions. Jack Steele 120. I think he gets that. And like you said, he averages 125 against the D's, so everything's looking good for him. Jade Gresham 100. This is a little, he can get that, he might not, but he'll be around that definitely. Windhagger, probably the best name in the AFL at the moment, -5. And then Wanganeen Malira got an average of not a break even of 9 after a big score that he had this week. And is it Carlton Kangas now?
It is. It is.
Okay, yep. So Carlton versus the Kangas. Carlton won by 50. It's the Kangaroos, so they should be disappointed by only winning by 50, I reckon. They've done the Kangaroos a favour. Jumped them up to 17th, not 18th, so North fans are probably celebrating. Paddy Cripps 138, Sam Walsh 129. This bloke and Mccrae were talking about earlier, Adam Sard 125 this week, and he's looking like a genuine back option, doing a lot better than I thought he was, and definitely what you thought he was doing. So that was a bit of a surprise packet for me, but he's got 125. Matt Kennedy back in and in the midfield scored 112. Hewitt should be back this week, so his score will probably go down from that if he keeps his spot. Harry Mccrae, 106. He had his kicking boots on. Jack Nunes, 102. Probably doesn't keep his spot with the names they've got coming back in, and if Kennedy keeps his spot as well, can see him floating to the wing. But that's a good score. Jack Carroll on debut. First touch was a goal, and he finished on 95 Supercoach. He's another one to look out for. He's 123k. Going into his second game this week, my worry would be his job security, really.
Yeah, I
And
totally agree.
for the Kangaroos, Goldstein 125, and we got a surprise packet. Aiden Bonner. He scored 41.
Mm. And that's gonna do it for tonight's podcast.
He's jumped up from -5 to 41. We need the
Uh,
blue moon on him.
now's the week to jump on Aiden Bonner.
I just had to chuck that in there for a bit of a laugh as we've been mocking him because he's been scoring like -5, 1, 10. He got double digits and he got in the 40s. I thought it would be pretty funny to chuck him in the hot there. Um, Liam Stocker for Colts now did his shoulder. I don't know the severity of that, but he probably loses his spot again because they've got names coming back in and he's obviously in, so he's probably not playing. Sam Doherty, 91. I think this has been in the last 2-3 weeks. He's been scoring the 90s. He's been getting the ball because, again, this week he had 33 and still only scored 91.
Yeah,
Bergman, I'm not sure of his first name because it's not the port one, did his shoulder and he's joined the Aiden Bonner club, finishing on -1.
yeah, Miller Bergman, I believe it is.
Miller, because the other one's Miles, I know
Yeah,
that. And Nick Larkey has been suspended from what I know till round 9.
absolute dogs at that.
I didn't see it, to be honest.
So someone jumped up for the mark, and he's just like pushed him in his butt and like tunneled him, and he was lucky, that the defender. I'm pretty sure it was Young. He landed on his butt, but if it was any more, he would have landed on his head. It would have been a really bad concussion. So he's just absolutely tunneled in midair. So absolute dog's act.
Getting into the break-evens, Adam Sard, 59. He's going to get that. Put Jack Carroll in there. He's on a -46 again, job security, and it's his first game. Paddy Cripps, 29. Sam Doherty, 114. I don't think he gets that, but I think he bounces back and tons up.
Yep.
Sam Walsh, 118. I think he gets that with the last few weeks been scoring high 120s. And Jason Horn Francis, 58. It's time to go.
And Nab Rising Star for the week.
Oh,
Your face just then.
I
Absolute,
don't agree at all. What did he
absolute
do? 6
disgust.
touches? Yep, 6 touches. Yep, rising star for the week. Just give him the medal now. Give it to him now.
I think they gave it to him just the fact that Silvani said he was shit.
Oh, and that's coming from Jack Silvani. So you know you shit if he's talking shit to you. That's all I had on that game.
Awesome. One thing I do want to touch on with the Giants, which I forgot to say, is Leon Cameron come out and said Lockie Whitfield this week will be spending more time on the wing. Hey!
Oh no, your score might go back down to 60. He played forward in the 95.
Yeah, that's only because he kicked 3 fucking goals. But yeah, Whitfield playing more time on the wing is good. He's going to play forward as well still, which I don't get, but more time on the wing means more points for Lucky Whitfield. So, and I don't think there was anything we had to say for the Port, no, and Carlton North Melbourne, no. So, move on to the next game, which was the Mighty Pies versus the Suns. The Pies won by 25. Easy
It was
work.
actually a good game to watch, to be honest.
It was a good game, but we're too good. So the Hots, Pendle's 116 is a real option for that defence. Cameron 115 did well with Grundy out. Jack Crisp 103, Maya Check 103 as well. Jack Ginnivan 93, and I put the man who came in for Grundy, Begg, scored 81 in his first game, which is very good because he's a cheap option that we could possibly look at to downgrade.
One problem with Beg, I saw it on Twitter. Everyone's going Beg, great first game. One problem, he's a ruck only.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you have Sam Hayes, Beg's not going to be an option. But if you need a backup ruck and you don't have Sam Hayes, he's someone to look in.
Well, he could be someone that didn't get rid of Cherry, and they could switch like a Dixon into the forward line for Cherry,
Yeah,
and then downgrade Cherry there. So um, definitely an option, but yeah, being just lone ruck could be a bit annoying. So the hot for the Suns took 160, bounced back big time. Jared Witt's
he was on
130.
-6 at quarter time or something as well.
Yeah, he had a 60 to 70 point second quarter.
Yeah,
Witt's 136, Noah Anderson 133, Marbiel Chol 125.
he went
Um,
Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan on you. It's got the blue strip going.
his his defender said, "This bit of grass in front of Marbiel Chol, we're gonna guard that." So they just
Was
let
it not
Chol.
Jack Imagine?
Yeah, probably. I mean, he guards grass every week, so no wonder why Chol turned up.
Nick
And
Maxwell 2.0.
and Matt Rao, 99,
What did
which
Caswell finish on?
less than 99.
Because he kicked 4-4 as well. I thought he had a big score.
Yeah, probably would have been around that 80 to 90 mark. Um, Colds, Jordan DeGoey 60, Jeremy Howe 60, and Braden Maynard 52. And
Don't
for
forget, the goalie did have the shits all week. So he spent most time forward.
he has the shits every week. And for Gold Coast Roses, only scored 48, which was disappointing because he's been averaging 73. Your boy Davies 32, and Isaac Rankin who
That's
played
a
a
high score.
and Isaac Rankin who played a full game finished on 3.
Hayden Bonner Club. He's joined.
As we move on to the break evens for the prize, Jack Ginnivan 12, Nick Dacos 74, but we spoke last week. You probably hold him as long as possible. Um, I think soon he might have just a week rest. So if that does happen, then that's the week to upgrade him. But I know Mccrae is looking just to give him a rest at some stage so we don't burn him out. Pendle's 91, Howe 92, Lipinski 92, Maynard 102, Chris 121, and Jordan going 139. As we move over for Gold Coast, as I spoke about Roses, he still has a -14 break even, which is good. Hopefully, he returns to those 70 pluses. Matt Rao 39, so he's looking to make money. Witt's still at 45, heaps of money there. Noah Anderson 46, we'll get that easy. Took Miller will start going up again with a break even of 85. And that's all I had for that game. So, Jack, I'll give you
Just
Bulldogs
on
versus
Wits, the
Essendon.
people who have him, he's someone to keep unless he gets injured now.
Yeah,
He's top 3 ruck for sure, especially with Grundy going down. If you started him like I did, I plan to keep him unless he gets injured or he suddenly decides to turn to shit and scores 50s every week, which can't really see happening. The more
yep,
games, the better for him, and you can see this year, the more games, the more consistent he's gotten. So if you have Wits, I would keep him.
yep. The three rucks at the moment that you'd be looking at would be English, Vaughan, and Wits. Um, Speaking about English, Jack, Bulldogs versus Bombers. Off you go.
Yeah, the Doggies won by 32 points, which it was a close game for most of the game.
Yep.
Well, at least I thought. The last quarter, the doggies must have just ran riot. I can't fully remember. I was still high on the dig train, so can't remember much of the other games. Dunkley, we spoke about earlier, 139. The Bond, I was speaking to you before, he scored 115, and the only time I saw him touch the ball was when he kicked the goal.
Hey, it was a 115-point goal, all right?
It must have been because he was nowhere to be seen for 4 quarters. And watch all the Bulldog supporters just start roasting me in the comments and on Twitter because of it. Bailey Dale 113 and Caleb Daniel 108. I think that's 2 weeks in a row he's turned up.
That's a point for every centimeter of height he is.
Getting on the Bombers, Jordan Ridley 115 had a very good game, but the debate that we had from the first week, Ridley or short, even though Ridley's 115 short, still demolished him in Supercoach. Parrish 111. That ball must have just been soreness, and because he did not look like it worried him at all.
Yep.
Mason Redmond 107. That's a bit of a surprise for me. Nick Martin 106. If you had him and you weren't stupid like me, keep him.
Yeah.
Keep him that M8 or not M8 F8. Bloody hell, I'm stupid.
F6, mate.
F6, yeah, that's the one.
I mean,
yeah, nah.
He could be M8 because he's forward mid now. So.
Oh, he's a forward mid now. So yeah. So
Keep
yeah,
the
there
bloke.
you go. M8, chuck him in M8. And Dawson Heppel 100. He turned up.
Yeah. Starting to hit some form.
Getting into the colds. Mitch Wallace, a foot injury. I don't know how severe it is. He's had a shocking week and a half, 2 weeks outside of football, and it just comes. His bad luck is just coming and freezing. He's done his foot this week, so hope all is well with him, and hope the injury isn't too bad and he can be back out there soon. Jack Mccrae, if you do it again, I'm going to pull a gun to you. 89. Come on, mate. Yes, that is a joke.
And no, it's not.
Adam Trelaw, 85. He last week, he just handballed it one too many times, and that's why his score was so low. He didn't kick it much, but when he did, he was actually hitting targets for one. So I feel like if he kicks a bit more than handballs, that score bumps up to 100. Libba 87. He's been on fire the last few weeks, so an 87 is a bit of a poor score by him. Benjamin Hobbs had a huge score of 13.
Oh, I had him on field over McCrae.
Baldwin scored 44, which I could have said was a hot game for him because I don't think he scored in the 40s before.
He got his break even of 26.
Does he?
Well, last week his break even was 26. I'm like, he might not get it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Jakey Stringer, I saw earlier today, he's out with a hamstring. So he must have redone his hammy. And then the last cold I've got is Zach Merritt, who scored 99.
Oh, stiff.
Yeah, he was one off the 100, but with his price, we want that one of 110, at least 100. So 99, it's a bit stiff, but it's just like the hard line. You either one off, you either for a primo, you get one extra point. You've had a good week.
Yeah.
With the break even, Ben Hobbs 48. Look, if he gets it, it's a Kane Baldwin miracle. Darcy Parish 104. I think he gets that. Jordan Ridley 81. I reckon he gets it as well. Even if he doesn't ton up, he's been getting those mid-80s to 90s. Nick Martin -1 with his form, that might be a little tough for him. I'm not too sure. Um, Adam Traw 99, hit or miss, could get it, might not. But he'll stick around that spot. Caleb Daniel 106 with his last few weeks scores. He gets that, but at Caleb Daniel and the uncertainty and inconsistency in his scoring could have him missed. But I'd
Yep.
say he keeps up his form and he gets it. Jack Mccrae 200.
Gets it.
So we hope so. Especially those who are risky and put him as vice captain this week. They'd love it. Look, I can see him bouncing back, coming up. I think, I think and I hope Beveridge has realised the Mccrae forward is useless. It's stupid. Stick it with Trelaw and Libba because they actually do stuff in the forward line where Mccrae, he looks lost down there,
Yep.
to be honest. And then last, but definitely not. Oh no, it's not. Last on this page, Josh Dunkley, 64.
Uh-huh.
The last three, we got Bond with 133. Definitely not getting that. No hope and all. I'm not backing him in for 130, let alone 133. He'll somehow get that 110, 115 again because the Herald Sun love him. Robbie McComb -41. This is his third game as well, so if you don't get him this week, you're looking like me, Nick Martin, a bloody idiot. And last, Libba 86. He had a bad game and scored 87, so he definitely gets that. But by how much depends on how well he plays.
Yep. Awesome. And I'll move to the last game, the Swans versus the Lions. The Lions won by 24 points. Straight into the hots, Lukey Parker, the man everyone's going for, scored 150. If you got him last week, absolute steal. But you need to get him this week if you don't. Callum Mills, 139, didn't quite back up the 214, but we'll take 139 if you had him. Buddy Franklin, 118, had a massive game. Isaac Heaney and Chad Warner, both 103. As we move over to the Lions, Lockie Neal, 187, as we said at the start. Huge. If you had the captain on him, well done. Dane Zorko, 120. Hugh McCluggage, 108. Harris Andrews, Jack, 106. Daniel McStay, 105. And Darcy, 12 goals, 0 behinds, 4, scored 102.
Did
For
you see
those,
Fitzy's tweet?
but
He goes, bloody hell, Darcy Ford, I hate you. You're gonna go down. You're gonna have a great career, but come on. The one thing that I had, you had to go and overdo. You could have stayed with us on 11 straight before a point, but no, you had to do one better. You had to get 12.
yeah, bloody Darcy Ford. But no, he's playing well at the moment. As we move on to the Colds, Jake Lloyd, 84. As you said last week, Jack, just not an option anymore. And Tom Papley, I know it's his first game back, but he scored 35, which is not great. Cam Rayner, 54, still yet to turn up. Jared Berry, 48. It's time to jump off the Berry train. And Zach Bailey, 46. As we move over to the break-evens, I've put Dylan Stevens here because he might be a chance to play this week. He's got a break-even of -1. Callum Mills, 41. We'll get that. Laddams, 44. I think he's a 50-50 for this week. So he isn't really an option if he plays, I think. Paddy McCartan should be back, 44 as well. Luke Parker, 51, definitely gets that. Heaney, 127. I don't think he gets that. And Lloyd, 133, doesn't get that. As we move over to Brisbane, Lockie Neal, 79. As I said, Jared Berry, 86. Zach Bailey 95, Hugh McCluggage a big 100, Daniel Rich 101, Zorko 117, and Lyons 115. Anything quick to add, Jack, or do I sign off?
I've got nothing to add on that
Nothing.
game.
Awesome. So that'll do us for tonight's podcast. As always, was there anyone we missed? Anyone you're looking to bring in, or you just want to know what their break evens are? Let us know in the YouTube comments or on Twitter. That is on Twitter at BreakEvensPod or on YouTube, the Break Evens. Also, we want you guys to know what is your rank and what are you looking to do trade wise? Who are you targeting? So let us know, as I said again, on Twitter or in the comments. We want to start to get like a thread of people giving all their opinions. So I might post something up tomorrow, and we'll try and get a big thread going. Thank you again for your support and for listening and watching on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. Um, round 8. Good luck to everybody for round 8. And on that note, as always, until next week, it's bye for now.
See ya.